Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. So welcome everyone to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I am here today with Mark Elkington, who is the CEO of Iliad Catamarans. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Nikki, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the great run down the harbour this afternoon to see what Iliad Catamarans is all about.
I certainly did. Wow. Incredibly stable ride.
Yeah, look, catamarans, that's their DNA. A catamaran has two hulls separated by a fair bit of water, so you don't get that roll that you do on a monohull, which are wonderful boats. We love all boats, but this is just another type of boat in the market.
Yeah, it's great. And I was literally walking around with a video camera in one hand and walking comfortably around the vessel even when you were approaching and through wash.
Yes, and we went offshore out through the harbour today. It was a beautiful day though, let's face it. We didn't see any whales, but we did see some lovely scenery out there, and it was great to take the new owners of this boat out who flew in from Florida to the Sydney Boat Show to have a look at this brand that they've heard about, and they proceeded with buying the boat.
How good is that?
It was wonderful to see their faces today that the sea keeping and the boat did meet their expectations, and you know that's really important to us.
That's absolutely amazing. So they literally flew into Sydney Boat Show from the US.
They rang us on Tuesday, asked about the boat's availability, which is a couple of years' wait for an Iliad 62. But we said we have our show boat on display in Sydney Harbour, and they were quite keen to get a boat quite quickly. So they secured the boat with a contract subject to seeing the boat, and arrived into Sydney at 7:45 a.m. the morning of the boat show, jet-lagged and tired, and walked on board, and within an hour signed the acceptance. So that was wonderful.
That's exciting. Oh, great story.
Yeah,
great story.
Great for the first boat that's been seen. We've got the second and the third and the fourth under construction. We now have 7 to build after the boat show, so that's even more exciting.
Yeah.
But, we're really pleased to see that the market has seen in the boat what we believed was the market whole. In production boats, we all know you have a choice of a little bit of fabric colours, but that's the layout. The goal of Iliad's DNA was robust, long-range, customisable power catamaran. So when this is a blank canvas, imagine this is 4 walls, and inside you can create whatever you want for the way your lifestyle is on board.
Yeah, I noticed you going through some plans with some people on board for some builds that are coming up for you. And there was even a dumbwaiter in one of those.
Yeah. Look, dumbwaiters from one galley to the upstairs galley in the flybridge. Makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Well, you know, why spill your hors d'oeuvres climbing up some stairs? It's really whatever your imagination is, we can create within reason. We're restricted by the volume in the boat, but we haven't got 2 galleys the same. We haven't got 2 dining areas the same. We don't have any lounge the same. Every part of the boat is really individual to each buyer. So I think that's a really nice stamp
Absolutely.
on each boat. And you'll see the next boat, I hope. I'll invite you aboard, Nicky. That boat will be at Santry Cove in May.
Lovely.
A whole different concept to this.
And what's that one?
That's a 62 Iliad, of course, but the lounge is not where this lounge is. That's a dining area. They don't have a helm station on the main deck.
Interesting.
So it's all even more voluminous on this main deck.
Yep.
They have a fully enclosed fly bridge. So that's like
Okay, so you
room.
can do that with these.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Air conditioned, hence the dumbwaiter up to the upstairs galley. It's more of a upstairs galley lounge area, and they've just made subtle changes. They've used what we call LP wood. It's a different timber. This is American oak.
Okay.
Every timber finish in every boat we're building there's no two the same.
Wow.
So it's a really different. I like the layout. This is our concept to show the market what you can do with this space, but that doesn't suit everyone. It's just an idea.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So you get really good customization of exactly what you want, because everybody uses their boat differently, right? So
they do. Plus, the gas, electric. Some people want gas. Some people want induction.
Yeah.
Some people want Miele or Siemens or appliances. Everyone's got their favourite brands.
Absolutely.
But not everyone wants the dishwasher there, the oven there, the sink.
Yes.
Some people have the sink at the aft of this galley instead of forward because they entertain out this way. Drawer sizes.
Yeah.
We have people tell us their favourite pot is this size, and there's got to be a cupboard to fit it. So we fit the boat to their pot. That's the detail we go to with some clients.
That's amazing.
If they've got a big cast iron favourite, stew type thing they want to use it, and they've never been. They have it on their current boat. They have it in the back lazarette because it doesn't fit in the galley. So it's really about customisation and optimising the spaces for each individual. And there's very much in the buyers. We have the guys in the partnership are into their electronics and motors and water makers and that type of thing. The females in the partnership are right into their galley design. Their lounge, their fabrics, this is ultra leather, Promessa Tusk. This is out of an Italian supplier, but someone has got a fabric that they just want, and a foam density that they want, truss density they want, or a bed width they want. You'll notice with a lot of boats, bed sizes can be awkward because of the shape of the boat. So we pretty much cover 90% of what everyone wants. There's always some compromise in a boat because of the shapes we have to work in, but we get pretty close.
What's interesting is that people really do have ways in which they use their boat, and different people have different reasons. I mean, there's some really simple things I noticed in terms of if you have grandchildren on this boat, you've got lovely high walkarounds, and the gates that go across to the steps down to the back of the boat make it very practical for having children literally running around on this vessel.
Absolutely. That's part of the Iliad DNA, is the safety, because we've created a boat that has a long range. This boat does nearly 3,500 nautical miles.
I know, that's amazing.
So we can drive this to Fiji, New Zealand. We can go New Zealand, return if you want to. But the safety aspect of the boat is a part of every Iliad catamaran. It's making sure that we're not blingy. That's one thing I made clear with the project was, when you get too fancy, it comes at a lot of compromise to seakeeping or to the way this boat would feel. This is an apartment, but a very safe ocean-going apartment. You can see with the shapes we've made, the high rails, the stainless steel rear decks, but the big one is even when you walk around the boat, there's no big gaps between anything, and we often have a client who wants to create something, but when we remind them, if you walk from that place to that place with that design and a wave hits the boat, you're not going to grab anything. Then they'll go, you're right.
Yeah.
So we'll compromise that layout to keep the DNA of a safe seagoing boat.
So, Mark, we're on the boat at the moment. It's a very, very comfortable space. I'm just explaining that to everybody at the moment because they may hear some marina noises in the background and birds and all that sorts of things. But it's kind of nice to actually interview you on board to get the real feel for the vessel, and taking us out today was amazing. Tell me how this catamaran differs to perhaps some other brands in its seakeeping ability.
Look, catamarans have a renowned problem with the bridge deck, which is the gap between the two hulls. We call the bridge deck, which we're sitting on now. You'll notice how high off the water we are. So our bridge deck clearance is exceptionally high in comparison to any other boats in the market. I think that might be the owners flying back to America. I'm not quite sure.
It could be.
But that is an important part of what we call bridge deck slapping. So when you're underway in an ocean and you get a wave, a catamaran will tend to go through a wave where a monohull the buoyancy in the volume of a monohull will bounce over the top of a wave.
Yep.
But that wave, as it passes through the narrower hulls, it has to pass through the bridge deck. So if the bridge deck is too low, you get a thud and you get a lot of compacted water trying to make its way between the two hulls.
Okay.
So not only does it make the hull inefficient, it makes it quite noisy. And I'm sure you found today you didn't hear any thuds or bangs or so look, there's no perfect boat. Every boat has a purpose. But we can. Why can we do 3,500 miles? We can do in perfect conditions. We can get to 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
But we say that with reserve fuel. So it's because it's a very efficient hull. It has very little drag from the sea when the water passes between the hull. And that's doing the slower speeds of that 9 knots, 10 knots, which is the speed you tend to cruise at if you're crossing an ocean. You don't want to be doing 25 knots in the dark in a foreign waterway.
No.
So it's the work on the hull we've done. We do a lot of tank testing, tow testing on our concept before we launched it. And the other thing that a lot of people said today they were surprised at, there was no spray offshore coming over the bow. A lot of catamarans suffer from a spray over the bow of the boat when you're underway. Mm-hmm. And we've overcome all these objections, and we're really happy with what we've achieved. As I say, it's not the perfect boat for everyone, but it's a real market for people that just want to travel long distances in a safe boat. Look how high off the water we are.
Yes.
It's if you're in a 2 metre sea, you don't have waves over the deck because we stand 2.3 metres our hull out of the water. So it's a really and that allows us to put the volume in the boat as well.
Yeah.
But bridge deck is one of our key features. Everyone talks about how much room is between the hull.
Yeah. So there was a term you used just then, tow testing. Can you explain that one to me?
So that's where you build the hull that you're proposing to make a mould.
Okay.
So before you make that hull, you build a scaled prototype to the exact dimension. It's around 3 metres long, exact dimensions to the hull you're going to build.
Okay.
Then you plan all the equipment that's going to go in that boat. Every option, everything you can put on that boat. And where we're proposing to put that equipment, you run it through a series of 500 metre runs in a test pool used by Boeing and Airbus and aircraft and submarine manufacturers. It's not a cheap exercise. you're looking at 23, 25 US a day,
Yep.
1,000 a day to hire the facility, but it gives you a critical data about your hull design. And we might run 50 runs, but we also apply a sea state of calm of 1 metre, 3 metres, a wind state of force 1 to force 7, 8, and we understand what the boat's going to behave like. And have we got the trim right with the equipment? And that could result in moving the engines 300 mil forward in the boat, which will minimise the size of the cabin we proposed to put in there. So we have to overcome those compromises, or we leave the engines where they are, but we move the water tank into another position. So And again, at the end of the day, nothing is perfect. It's the best of everything that we can do to achieve the boat we're trying to launch in the market. So when we build the mould and we build the first boat, we know it's going to work.
Fascinating. So talking of building moulds, is she hand laid? Is she fusion? What is she?
So the hull of this boat is full vinyl ester resin. It's the most watertight resin you can use in the layup of any watercraft. The core is all diab foam. It's a closed cell foam. And we resin infuse the hull. So the resin infusion under great pressure goes through all the tiny cells through the diab foam to create a very strong, stiff, and a fairly lightweight hull compared to our old days of laying up a hull. When we laid up a hull in the old days, if John rolling one side, pressure was different to Steve on the other side, or Mary on one side and Robin on the other side, your thicknesses were very different and your weights were very different.
Yeah.
So what infusion does is allows a boat to be exact in every part on every side. It is the same.
And it has no air in it either.
No.
Yeah.
And it's environmentally a very nice way to build a boat. You don't have the toxic fumes because it's done from a drum into tubes into a sealed plastic infusion system. So it is the way the best boats are built today.
Yeah.
In composite.
And they're therefore lighter, just as strong, but lighter.
They're as light as they can be, with the strength tolerance they need to be. There's no waste. You're not just putting resin in an area where it is of no use.
So where are those hulls actually built?
So our factory is in China. We chose China because of the people that, as we pulled this project together, Riccardo Bulgarelli is an Italian naval architect who worked with me on the design of the hull. He's got a great spirit, young guy, late 30s, Italian, did his apprenticeship with Azimuth in Italy. He's quite well known for some interesting boats that he's designed and built over the years. He built quite a few 120 footers for clients out of his design office, and he was based in China. That's where I met him.
Yep.
Because he was doing boats for the Middle East, he was doing boats for Europe and American clients, and he was quite interested in creating a range of boats instead of doing project, then another project, then another project. And we met a number of guys. John Tellerwood used to run McConaughey's for 17 years. Bruce Livingston is now working with us, well-known guy, used to work with Grand Banks and other shipyards in Southeast Asia. So we just had the right people, and that was where it suited everyone to be. So it's like I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. People don't understand why I'm not in Sydney, but that's where my family are, and we run our whole business from Mooloolaba.
There you go. Love that.
We have quite an expansive business, but that's where we like to be. And we met a great bunch of guys who very westernised boat builders, and it just all came together in China. And against, I knew the concern people have with China, but, we import boats. Our business is broader than Iliad. We have a retail business. We import boats out of France and out of Sri Lanka and out of Poland and out of Italy. The culture and the delivery, and you can see the finish in this boat.
Yeah.
It's as good as anywhere in the world. And
Yeah,
we're so pleased that we undertook the project there. The winner is the customer.
Yeah.
We're on a boat that would cost us $6.5 million if we built it in Europe or Australia. And here's an amazing boat for low $5 million because of the great cost advantages we have in China. And they do a terrific job.
Yeah, the finishes are absolutely extraordinary on this boat.
They are.
Yeah, every piece of stainless is incredibly solid. And the catches are really high quality. It's things like that you notice.
I don't know whether I mentioned, but all, the glass in this boat is made in New Zealand. We import it. We send it to the shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
All the sliding doors are made on the Gold Coast by, the best. These are in Maritimos, Rivieras, anything you'll find in the market.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the best suppliers. All the catches and hinges, anything that is a fitting on this boat comes out of Italy.
There you go.
So, the door catches, the drawer catches, all the appliances are as they are. The Delay Siemens, all the electronics are Raymarine or Garmin. The upholstery is all out of Italy. It's all Korean. Bench tops, it's all high mat flooring, or what the customer wants. If the customer wants a laminated Laminex top, we'll do it. But they're generally not our market. But all the timbers are chosen, hand selected for each boat by our team. If they want a certain timber, we make sure we buy a lot more than we need for the boat because the patterns in timber have to. You can see how we match our timber patterns. You've got to. We have a fair bit of disposed stuff. Well, that's got a real knot in it that's not going to work there. So we do the best we can to keep it all seamless.
What's the cockpit floor?
So that's synthetic teak.
Okay.
Traditional teak is still loved by a lot of people.
Yes.
But we all know how...
It's running out.
It's running out. It's grown very quickly. So we don't have the longevity of what... our old Halversons had with their teak decks, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is environmentally a better product.
Yes.
You'll notice the grey corking through it.
Yes.
We use that because the black corking is what really brings the heat to it as well.
Yeah.
Too much heat from black, So, it can get a bit warm, like any deck of a boat. Nothing's better than the good old non-skid white on a boat. We all know that if you've been in boats, but you can't not put it on. It looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It just brings the boat together, and the product is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether you've been on the 50 in front of us, but that's 2 years old, and it looks no different to this boat.
So obviously lower maintenance for the clients as well.
Yep. Red wine, wash it off. Any marks, they just wash off. You tend to gurney it.
Yes.
With a gurney, and it looks like new.
Yeah. But the grey corking is a very good idea. It's little details like that if you think about and you apply to the design, that's what makes the difference to the client actually enjoying the boat.
Yes. Black is quite hard, it's quite traditional. But, we've got, I think, one boat we're doing black because that's what they want and it works with some of their colour scheme. So I understand that. We do some with white. And that's stunning, but it's quite hard to keep clean.
Yeah, fair enough. The galley on this vessel is enormous. I don't think I've ever seen a galley this big. And I counted 10 drawer fridges on this boat.
Yes, well, look, Vina, and look, you'll notice in the galley, they're fridges or freezers.
Exactly.
So you can press.
Yeah.
You can. The temperature range is minus 18 through to 4 degrees. There's your temperature range. You can have a fridge at 0. You can have a freezer at minus 10 and one at minus 18. If you can adjust them because it's a passage baking boat. You tend to stock up. You might leave with 6 or 8 of your fridge freezers as freezers, and as we make the Pacific Islands and start to kind of move through our food on board, our provisions, we slowly turn the freezer down and eventually you turn them off.
So Sounds terrible. Pacific Islands. I mean, oh dear.
Well, why not? It depends how many fish you catch on the way as well. But
sounds amazing.
It's really good to have the option.
Yeah.
This has got nearly 2,000 litres of fridge storage. You've seen it upstairs. Just in the owner's cabin, you've got a fridge.
I missed one then. So there's 11.
Oh, you haven't seen them all then, Nicky. Sorry, you're not looking hard enough. But the idea is that you can push of a switch, they're off. So you're not using power. You don't need it. You're keeping your frozen goods in good order, and that's the DNA of this boat. It's a long range boat. I mean, 3 months, 4 months on board without tying up to a marina. That's what it's capable of doing.
That's fantastic. There's another little feature I noticed, which I really like too, which happens very occasionally on boats, and I love it when it does, and that is the day head in the cockpit area, which means you can come off the beach with your sandy feet and use the bathroom and then go back out to the beach without upsetting anyone about getting your sand in the carpet.
That's right. Look, and why? Our team between us, we've probably lived on boats between us for 100 years. We've spent, our operational technical team have, been on white boats for 10 years as engineers, or I've had private boats. I've been on with my family. I've grown up on boats, and it's one of those things that we felt was essential to create an area. Even if you're swimming and you want to jump out of the water, use the bathroom, jump back in the water, you don't have to dry yourself, walk through the boat into a bathroom, back out, jump in the water again. It's just it was common sense, but also for what the DNA of the boat is, it's great storage. Yep. If you don't want to use it, or you're not using it because you are heading down to Tasmania and it's a bit cold, or if you're up in the Northern Territory and you're not going to dive in the water because it's full of crocodiles, it's a great storage area.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mark, let's go back a little bit. When did you get into this wonderful boating industry that is something you've obviously been part of for a very long time?
Well, look, probably my parents, 4 years old, I was thrown in a dinghy and shouted that off the beach to learn to sail. That's the thread. But more so probably out of school, I went into maritime college. I was going to join the customs in WA. It was a fork in the road.
Okay.
To join a new build and run a customs boat that was being built, a catamaran. But the guys that didn't do very well in the college ended up crayfishing, becoming fishermen, and that's what I ended up doing. I thought that sounded a lot more fun. So, yeah, from the crayfishing industry to boat maintenance to the yacht charter industry, there's been evolution. I've just always been connected to boats. What got me into catamarans was we started Sunsail Yacht Charters in Australia in 1994. Myself and a guy, Ziggy Drews, a great German friend of mine.
Yeah.
And at that time, when we connected the Sunsail brand, we had a lot of international clients wanting to come to the Barrier Reef, to the Whitsundays, and they wanted a catamaran. And we had a lot of monohulls. A long story, but eventually I went to Europe and I bought a catamaran back from Europe, and it was a great success for the charter industry. When I sold that business, I carried the multi-hull concept on in a supply chain to introduce private buyers to multi-hulls.
Yeah. And that
trimarans, catamarans as well, 2 hulls, 3 hulls. And that's been our passion for 20, 25 years.
And that's the name of your business, the Multi-Hull Group.
Multi-Hull Solutions.
Yeah.
So that's one of our kind of businesses. We have a monohull business now as well, which is kind of selected brands for monohull enthusiasts. As I say, we love boats. I mean, whether 1 hull, 2 hull, 3 hull, but it's really nice to work with people and give them what they want. Sell catamarans, and you sell monohulls, you tend to talk people out of that.
Of course.
If we didn't sell monohulls, we only could sell catamarans, we tend to talk people out of monohulls. So our goal is to get the right boat fit for every person we can, get them on the right track. Iliad then was created from people walking away at boat shows and people that I met who they wanted this longer range. They wanted a boat that they could feel safe to park on a beach if there was a cyclone coming, or go up to in a mangrove if they're in an isolated area in the world. They could go up a mangrove channel and survive, save the boat.
Interesting.
They wanted customization. There was all these little moving parts in my head back in 2016. So I tried to find a shipyard to adapt a boat to become what this is, and with a commitment of a number of orders, but it wasn't happening. So bravely we entered into a project together, found the right people and created Iliad Catamarans. And it's been quite anxious for the last 3 or 4 years to see would this work. But look, $20 million of sales at the Sydney Boat Show, it's proven it's worked.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really exciting. And literally having people flying in from other countries to see the vessel to confirm their purchase.
More overwhelming to us. When, look, we've turned a lot of inquiry or business away from the American market because we haven't wanted boats that far away. We need our boats close to us until we get to know that everything is working, that we've got it right. We've only launched 8 or 10 boats. I want to see us with 20 boats on the water before we start to allow our boats to disappear that far away.
As I understand it, that couple are actually intending to spend some serious time here before they take her anywhere.
At least a year, which was what we explained we needed. So it's great. They understand it, and they'll be so well supported. They'll appreciate that being here. Nothing worse than buying a boat and being stuck in somewhere where you can't get service, you can't get the help you need. So because we build the boat and we handle the sale, we're very connected to the customer. We can't blame the shipyard, can't blame the distributor, we can't blame anyone but ourselves if the customer's not getting the service they need. And we're still making sure we've got this right. We know we have, but we're never going to rest on our laurels and just think it's all good,
So you have Rachel working with your team. She seems a very cluey young lady.
Yeah, Rachel.
What's her role
has been
here?
with us for, I remember sitting in a pub in Airlie Beach, asking her to come and join us. Must be 12 years ago. If you're listening, Rachel, sorry, I should know, but her goal was to get into the marketing arena, and she was working with the old Sunsail business after we'd sold it. So I heard about this girl, and someone said to me, this is the person you need to kind of connect to give your marketing a whole new lift. And it's been great. She's an incredible lady, hard worker. We helped, the plan was, okay, I want to do a marketing degree. We helped with that process, and we had a couple of goals together, and she got distinctions in, a Bachelor of Business, major of marketing, and shone through, and she runs a marketing of $120 million turnover business now. So it's a great accolade. And then our Chief Operating Officer, Michael, who drove the boat today.
Yes.
Little love affair internally in the business, and they're married with 2 children. So
how lovely! That's great.
We save on hotel accommodation now because we've got 2 people in one room.
Exactly right. Keep it in the family, literally.
Yeah. So, but we are a close knit bunch of people. There's 20 of our staff have been with us for at least 10 years.
Yep.
We have very little staff turnover. Most people stay. There's a great career path with us. We have 11 offices in 7 countries. In our retail business, we have offices in Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, French Polynesia, New Caledonia, New Zealand, 5 offices in Australia. So it's great for young people because they can go and spend time working in Asia. Spend time working in New Zealand or Australia, and it's a really diverse business. So we're multi-location, multi-branded. Iliad is our own baby, it's our own brand that we tuck in here in Australia.
Yes.
But it's great that we have that reach of people and that's really where our people cruise. Our clients, if they pick up a boat, delivered to Australia, they sail the Pacific.
Yeah.
And we have offices and support there. If you look at the trade winds, you'll sail to Asia. It's beautiful, but once you're there, that's the end of the trade winds. So people who buy boats from us and pick up in Europe and sail across, through the Panama and across the Pacific, they usually will end up in New Zealand, Pacific, Australia or Asia. It's the end of the trade wind routes, and that's why we have that kind of captured office area at the end of the trade wind routes.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Well, as the sun goes down on this beautiful day, Mark, we have been out for a terrific run on this vessel. That was amazing. But now we're sitting in the dining area and there's this lovely sun going down on the back deck, but it's beautifully shaded. It's lovely. We've got, I love the fact that the flybridge covers over the cockpit completely. For Australia, that is sensational.
Yeah, and one thing, if it rained, the water won't drip on the couch.
No, that's true too.
All these little things I've seen in boats my whole life. Just why not a little longer?
Yes.
Why not a little bit this or a little, just tweaks and changes? And that's what this is about.
Yeah.
Just tweaks and changes.
Yeah, and I sat out the front earlier and just, oh, look, the sun lounger just pulls up. That's all it does. Yeah. It's really easy.
Yeah. There's nothing fancy. We're not, we're practical.
Yeah.
It's a very practical, easy to manage boat. And I think that's what we all need to enjoy the water. We're getting a bit fancy, I think, in some areas. And there's some wonderful gadgets out there. But at the end of the day, a cold fridge, a warm oven, a comfortable bed, and the ocean is all you need.
Or except for your outstanding spirit straw you've got there. That I like that one.
So special occasions, for that
folks,
lovely scotch on the rocks after a hard day at the beach. It's not bad, is it?
It's very nice. Guys, just to explain to you, there's a beautiful glass cabinet next door to the dining area, and you open it up, and then it's got this fixed box that you could put, a bottle of spirit in each section that actually pulls out, so you can see it really easily. So there's just practical little things all over this boat that you notice. The lighting is spectacular on this boat. There is light, little subtle hints of lighting everywhere, as well as an abundance of windows that give you so much light into the space.
Yeah, and that's Ricardo Bulgarelli, our designer. You see the mirrors in above you, little thin mirrors with the lights in the ceiling. It just gives you a sense of a bit more height.
Yes,
but it's not a mirror that you would notice.
Yeah,
people don't notice it until I point it out. But
no,
that's why this roof line feels a bit like it's a bit higher up there than it is.
Yes,
so
and then you've got the really nice. Yes. So that around the side of the saloon area, we've got a sort of recessed area, and just behind that is a little light, isn't it? So it's just beautifully done.
It's got a great mood. It's a very calming boat to be on. There's a lot of hours of hard thinking have gone into this boat. Not just the thing is the design is one thing. Then there's a technical side, and then there's a functional side of everything. What sometimes we want to achieve, we can't because it won't function properly. It'll be too difficult to maintain or run, or uses too much power. So there's a lot of, wow, that's going to be great. And then we all kind of come back and go, oh, that's the best we can do because it's practical. It always comes back to the practical part of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So if you could take this beautiful girl somewhere tomorrow to enjoy some peaceful, relaxing boating, where would you go, Mark?
I'd probably I'd head to Fiji for about a month or two, and then I'd head out to French Polynesia, to Tahiti, and I'd probably live out there for about a year.
Oh, très bien.
It's a pretty cool place. I don't know if you haven't been there, but if you haven't been to French Polynesia, boating in that area is probably one of the greatest in the world. I know hundreds of boat owners who have sailed the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, Southeast Asia, the wonderful place in the world, and the Pacific. And I reckon 8 in 10 of those people, when I ask that question, Tahiti and French Polynesia and the broader Pacific is probably the best sailing in the world, the best boating grounds in the world.
So on that beautiful note, folks, we shall finish up dreaming as if we've got a cocktail out in Tahiti on this beautiful Iliad 62. Thank you very much for your time today, Mark.
Thank you, Mickey, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell our story, and let's hope more people get out on the water, hearing what we're doing and what the industry is doing.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to know more about what I do and where I am, then you can follow me on Instagram at The Boat Princess. You can also sign up to my newsletter on my website, which is theboatprincess.com. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you on the water soon.